ever judged a book by its cover. We all have. But today we're diving into a story where those snap judgments lead to some serious consequences. And some unexpected growth, too. Think high-end fashion, a clash of appearances, and a hefty dose of humility.
It's fascinating how the source material really sets the scene for this, collision of perceptions. We're in Regal Wardrobe, this super upscale boutique in Dallas.
Exclusive clientele.
Oh, yeah. And you know what that means? Price tags to match.
Okay, so picture this. Regal Wardrobe, bustling morning. Marissa, our main saleswoman, she's all about upholding that boutique image.
Maybe a little too much, you could say.
Right, like she's the guardian of this, I don't know, this aura of exclusivity.
Exactly.
And then in walks Brian.
Uh-oh.
He's dressed down, jeans, a polo shirt.
Nothing too outrageous.
But then there's the hat. Bright red MAGA hat.
Ah, yes. The MAGA hat. Talk about a loaded symbol.
Instantly, it kind of sets off all these assumptions.
The source material definitely knew what they were doing with that detail.
For sure. It's like this instant litmus test, right? You can almost see people's perceptions forming. And Marissa, internally, she is not happy.
Nope. She's convinced Brian just doesn't belong. Thinks he's going to disrupt that carefully cultivated atmosphere.
Worried about what the other customers will think?
We really see that internal struggle play out, all her thoughts about the image they're trying to project.
And it's not just her, right? You start to see those reactions ripple through the store. Other customers, some are curious, some are maybe a little uncomfortable.
Like the air just changes, yeah.
Totally. And, from a psychology standpoint, it's interesting. That whole conformity thing kicks in.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's looking around like, how are we supposed to react to this?
And then there's Anna. She's a newer sales associate, younger.
Kind of watching this all go down.
And she seems hesitant, like wants to say something.
But unsure if she should.
I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially in a new job.
You don't want to rock the boat, right?
Yeah. So Marissa, being the senior one there, she decides to take charge. Goes up to Brian and, she's polite but firm.
That unwritten dress code talk.
Exactly. Even suggests maybe he'd be more comfortable shopping, I don't know, somewhere else.
The message is loud and clear, though, isn't it? You don't fit in here.
Subtle exclusion really shows you what assumptions she's making.
Assumptions and biases.
And this is where it gets interesting. Because Brian, his reaction, not what you'd expect at all.
Yeah, no shouting match.
He's calm, composed, almost like he's amused by it. Just says, hey, didn't know about a dress code, and agrees to leave.
Observant, though. Like he's taking it all in.
Gives you the feeling there's more to him than meets the eye.
Definitely more than just some random shopper who wandered in.
Marissa watches him go, feeling like she's saved the day, preserved the boutique's precious image.
Little does she know.
Oh, this is where it gets good. Anna, who's been getting more and more uneasy this whole time, she suddenly remembers something. And let me tell you, this changes everything.
Snap judgments coming back to bite.
Oh, you have no idea. Buckle up, because this is where things go off the rails.
So before we went to, well, not a break exactly, I guess, but before we paused, we had Marissa feeling pretty good about herself and Anna with this, light bulb moment.
Right. Remember those staff meetings where they introduced the boutique chain's new owner? Well,
Oh, yeah.
it was Brian.
Talk about irony.
It's almost like cosmic joke, right?
Totally. Marissa, so focused on keeping up appearances, she completely misses who he actually is.
It's like that saying, right? Clothes don't make the men. Or something.
It makes you think, though, have we ever done that? Dismissed someone based on, I don't know, how they look.
Oh, for sure.
Not even just about clothes. Could be anything. What group they seem to belong to, whatever.
It's like our brains are wired to judge, right?
There was this study about unconscious bias, people shown pictures of faces, asked to rate them on stuff like trustworthiness, competence. Turns out they were making decisions based on tiny cues, facial expressions, hairstyles.
Wow.
So it's not just about what you're wearing, it's how we're, I don't know, programmed almost.
And if you're not aware of it, that bias,
Oof.
bad decisions waiting to happen.
Especially in a workplace, right? Hiring, promotions, even just how people treat each other day to day.
So Anna's in a tough spot now. She knows Marissa just kicked out the owner. But Marissa isn't exactly known for taking advice.
That's putting it mildly.
So does she speak up, risk getting shut down, or stay quiet and potentially let things get worse?
Classic dilemma. What do you do?
Meanwhile, Brian's walking away. And this is where it gets interesting. He's not angry. He's
No.
intrigued, almost like he sees this as a, I don't know, a test of his investment.
Smart. Instead of, storming back in there demanding an apology,
He's playing the long game.
thinking about the big picture, the kind of culture he wants at his stores.
Back at the boutique, Jennifer, the store manager, she comes back from a meeting, totally clueless about what went down.
Uh-oh.
Marissa, still feeling all proud of herself, she tells Jennifer about the interesting visitor, the one with the hat.
You can just see it coming, can't you?
Total train wreck the moment Jennifer realizes.
Oh, man. The look on her face.
Frantically checking her email. And then she shows Marissa the corporate announcement. Brian Thompson, Maggiorate hat guy.
He is the new owner.
Marissa, I think she went white as a sheet.
Understandably.
Trying to justify herself, but too late. The whole mood in the store changes. Everyone's just waiting.
And then, that little bell above the door.
Chimes.
Brian walks back in. Still wearing the hat.
You could cut the tension with a knife. Marissa's like petrified.
I bet.
Jennifer's trying to, I don't know, salvage the situation, but you can tell she's freaking out too.
Makes sense.
And Brian, cool as a cucumber.
That's the mark of a good leader, right?
Totally. Just, hey, can I talk to Marissa? Alone.
So they head to the back office. Can you imagine how Marissa's feeling?
Oh, I'd be sweating bullets, waiting for the axe to fall.
But that's not what Brian does.
Nope. He asks her this question. Simple, but so powerful. What was it about me that made you think I didn't belong here?
Wow. Gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? No room for excuses.
She tries to explain, it wasn't personal, just worried about the customer.
Oh, a classic.
But Brian pushes back. Did anyone actually say anything? Or was that just your assumption?
He's making her think.
Confront her own bias.
Exactly. And that's when it hits her, how much she messed up.
And then Brian says, look, this isn't about me or my hat. It's about how quickly you judged. You decided who I was without knowing a thing about me.
Powerful.
It's bigger than just this one incident, It's about how we treat people in general. So quick to judge.
Empathy. That's what's missing.
Brian could have fired her, right?
Crazy.
Make an example out of her.
All right.
But he doesn't. Instead, he does something really unexpected.
What's that?
Mandatory customer service training for the whole staff.
Interesting. Focusing on.
Empathy, unconscious bias, treating every customer with respect, no matter what.
He's investing in his people, addressing the root cause, not just the symptoms. That's good leadership.
So weeks go by, and you can feel the change in the boutique. Like everyone's really thinking about things differently.
Reflection, taking those lessons to heart.
And then one day, Brian walks back in.
Hat.
No hat this time, but you can still feel that presence.
Of course.
And Marissa, she's different. Greets him professionally, offers to help. No fear, no hesitation.
She's grown.
Brian notices it too. It takes a lot to admit you're wrong and learn from it, he tells her.
Forgiveness, second chances, powerful stuff.
As he's leaving, Brian says, remember, sometimes the people you least expect can teach you the most valuable lessons.
So true. Got to be open to learning from anywhere, anyone.
The story ends with Marissa thinking about what Brian said. She's learned that empathy, respect, it's not just about work, it's about how we treat everyone.
Creating a better world, one interaction at a time.
So I guess the question is, are we willing to challenge our own assumptions? Look past the surface, because you never know who might teach you something important.
Food for thought.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.